Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Railroader, a game where we start a railroad and we build a railroad and we deliver cars and deliver passengers and basically have some fun with friends. We're going to work our way from the very beginning of the game. So we've done some video, had some fun. I'd like this to be a little bit more directed. I'm gonna try to go day by day, though some of these days are gonna be longer than others, so we may split those into like 2 videos. But this is day 1, and we are here on the layout. There's a couple tasks that we need to do to get this railroad working and get it working right. We come in here, and if you're new to the game, this is actually going to be good for you because you can see how to do the tutorial without actually doing the tutorial. If you just kind of follow and mimic the same things that I do, you'll be just fine. All right, so first off, we have one engine that's running and one engine that's broken. It's not really broken, but it's been derailed and damaged in a flood. And that is over here. And to get this back on the track, this is going to be super easy. By the way, we are the RRRR. The Rocky River Railroad. Kudos to where I started my 50 years of living. It's a place where I grew up in northeastern Ohio with a bunch of snotty kids. Not well to do. All right, so here's our working engine, and this is a Mogul. I'm learning very quickly the classification types of engines and getting yelled at by all the train buffs out there like, I can't believe you don't know this. I mean, there's some serious train snobbery that goes on. I had one person yell at me because I mentioned that the Atlantic was not a super popular or successful type of engine, and it wasn't, except for the Hiawatha. And he's like, are you kidding? The Hiawatha was the most successful engine of all time. And I'm like, okay, dude, like, relax. It's a game, man. That kind of stuff cracks me up. Here we go. So we're going to have fun. I don't know everything about steam locomotives, but I do know a bit. And I have been around and had fun with trains my whole life, pretty much. They used to get picked on in high school because I would read Model Railroader magazine. And yes, I know Hiawatha's an Atlantic. Thank you. And I even mentioned that in the video. I don't know why he didn't hear that part. But we have to get this engine going. So let's stop talking and start working. So, first things first, let's check the tracks and make sure we're set up. I think I've done it like 3 times now. We're going to pull right up to the coaling tower, and we have a little teeny bit of coal left. We're going to put that into the engine. We're also going to put the water into the engine because this engine's about half full. Now, sight glass. You can see there, we can read how much water we have in our tender by this glass. This is not realistic, okay? In real life, this is where you actually want it. This shows you how much water's in the boiler, and you want that to be half full. But in this game, it's used as a tender level, which it's not realistic, but whatever. Looking out the front of the engine, I'm going to control-click. I'm holding control down, left control, and I'm clicking on the train engine, and that gets me this menu over here. If I click select, I'm now in control of this engine. If I click follow, it's going to chuck me outside to an outside camera view. And we're going to go ahead and start her up. And I press the K key to open the cylinder cocks, which don't have to be open for a long time, but they should be open when you're not running. Hear the whistle blowing. All right, so we're going to run up here to the tower. And I am going to put the follow cam on, and we're going to put the camera right about here so we can see our engine coming up. And we're going to open this too, and we're going to put the brakes on and slow down a lot. That's probably good. And I want to stop. We're going to put the water in first. And so this is all part of the tutorial, though it might be a little bit out of order. You don't have to do the tutorial in order. This is the nice thing, is we're getting all the tutorial stuff done without actually having to follow the guide. So I'm pulling forward a little bit and stopping. A little bit more. Once again, the button that we used to re-rail the train was Shift R. See, we're nice in line with that. That's why I do the outside camera. It's really easy to see what you're doing lined up. That's going to fill until the tender's all the way full, and then it'll automatically stop filling. So we're going to let that happen, and we'll be back in just a moment. All right, while that's filling up, we're going to go ahead over here to our coal hopper. I'm going to control click it. You can see down here we have some information. First of all, you can go in here and we can customize it. This is kind of neat. You can actually make it different colors on the lettering. We can change the road number. The reporting mark is RRRR. We could probably change that to river. I should probably have just made that my reporting mark. Anyway. Change the text color and all that stuff. Can't change the color of the car, though. Some cars change colors, some don't. But we're going to go into operations. This is the important part. And this is our car, and we're going to use this car to load the coal chute. But we don't have, unfortunately, any coal in the car. That doesn't happen until tomorrow morning. So we're only going to get a little bit of coal in our engine, but enough for the day. Let's go ahead and add. So it's going to load to the East Whittier coal loader. We're loading to this. And with the empties are going to go to the interchange. And so right now, this car is scheduled to go to the interchange because it's empty. And then when it comes tomorrow, it will get overnight. We'll get a new car with coal in it, and they're gonna charge us $150 for that car. That's not bad. It gives you literally like probably a good week's worth of fuel at the start. Eventually, your engines are going to get bigger, and they're going to take more than that. But so now we're going to put in what little coal we have here, but this is enough for the day probably. You see that filling up. All right. Now, things of importance to do. Well, like I said, I would say first things first, we need to get that coal car to the interchange, and we need to get the broken engine that we put back on the tracks over into the repair shed and hire a crew member to fix it. So I think those are super high priority, because if we can get both engines running tomorrow, we can start making some good money. So let's go ahead and back up. We're coming on back. And just pass the switch. Put the brakes on right around the switch, and you can see here we've stopped. Let's go ahead and throw that. And pull on forward up to the empty car. And there we go. And we're going to put the brakes on, slow that thing down. 2 to 3 miles an hour. That was a little fast. Honestly, in this game, more like a mile to 2 miles an hour. You can go faster, but it ain't good for the engine. All right, so we're going to shift-click the glad hands. So I hold down shift and click. And what that does, if you're not familiar with the system in the game, and I'm going to kind of familiarize you here, when you connect a car, you have to connect the brake lines. That's this. Right now, they're disconnected. And you can see here we have what are called angle cocks. These keep the air inside whatever the vehicle is. So in this case, this one being closed means the air stays inside the engine. The engine is the one that generates the air. So once you've disconnected the cars, if I do that, all the air bleeds out of the car, and now the brakes are set. So in order to get the brakes off, they have to have air in the system. So when I close these, I can do it 2 ways. I can manually close it and then open this up and go over here and open that one. Open this up and open this up like that. And now there's air flowing between the cars. What that means is now the engine controls the brakes. You can see over here in this little gauge, see those dots? That means that the brakes are working. So let's go ahead and back this up. I'm going to turn the brakes off, put it in reverse, blow 3 toots sloppily, and we're going to pull this car out of the coal chute. And we're going to put it back to the interchange, which won't won't take long. There we go. All right, and I'm going to switch this way. And the train's going to go forward. 2 toots mean forward. So we got a lot of yard work. We got a lot of yard work to do today, primarily because it's the first day. There always will be a lot of yard work. Now, eventually, I'm going to have Micah and or Javius join me on this, like they were in the Twitch videos that we posted up, so you guys can see the gameplay. And so they will be back as engineers / help co-manage the railway, because this game's going to get huge fast. All right, I've got this switch set, and we're going to back our engine. He's going to go back. And the one thing that I need to do is to make sure that we are not set. No, we're good. So that car is going to go back here onto the interchange. We're going to put him on this track here. We're going to keep it. Yard speed is restricted to about 15 miles an hour. So we're good. The reverser, just if you keep it at 100%, you really won't go over like 12 or 15 miles an hour. So that the reverser kind of helps you stay where you want to speed-wise a little bit. It's not a perfect science, but so there you go. We roll into the siding. And we stop. And we're going to put the whole brake on. There we go. Now, also today, we have a passenger car, and we have this caboose that we're going to sell. You could keep the caboose, but I don't see any point in keeping it. Yeah, later game when you have long runs where you're going through the whole map, I could see using it, but most of the trains we're doing right now are going to be really short, and they're going to be broken up all the time, so the thing's just going to get in the way. All right, so let's go ahead and shift-click these, and you can see that it opened up or closed the angle cocks. Then we click on the coupler to open that, and there we have it. So we're going to back our train quite a ways down the track to the next switch, which is it's a little bit down the track. It's not super close to where we are here. So, but that's just how it is. Toot toot. And here we come out of the yard at the other end. So, heading away from us, going the other way is, I'm not sure the name of the town. It's like Shelby or Shelley or something like that. There's a whole series of cities going back that way, but we don't own the track. So, we have to buy, I believe, buy the route. Alrighty. And there she goes. So if we look at the map here by pressing M, we can buy all of this line, but it's $10,000. But it does run all the way down through Dillsborough. Oh, Silva, that's it, to the interchange here. But it costs us $10,000 to buy access to that, so we're not going to buy that yet. Instead, we have to repair bridges, as you guys saw us doing in the multiplayer. It's about 3 days per bridge. The first bridge gets you Governor's Island, Walker, and Bryson. And then the second bridge leads you down to Hemingway, Alarka, Brooks. I think there's another bridge or something you got to fix there. All these little spots are places that are missing that you got to repair. And most of them do take 3 days to fix. Apparently I picked the wrong track. I wanted the one that was... I wanted one over. I shouldn't have... I went too far over. That's all right. We'll bump up the speed. This is not a yard track, so it's a through line, so... Get the train a little closer to 20 miles an hour as we come down here. And start braking. As we pull in here to the yard, we're gonna brake and oops, now I'm gonna stop in the through there. All right, that's good. So the next thing we need to do is get that other engine into the barn for repair. And while we're at it, we should set our time scale a little slower because the day is just flying by. And that means we're missing opportunities. So the time multiplier is a 1-to-1. Now it's actual time, which is not a bad idea for this game. It's not like Farm Sim where you get way more done than you should. Let's see, I need to actually... No, we need to go to this interchange. All right, so I actually need to go forward a little bit further to get that car, or that engine. So the next thing we're going to do is get the engine repaired. So let's get the underpinnings of that set first. We've got the track switched, and we're going to roll back there and pick it up. Yeah, and that's on there. Yep, and that's all good. So we need to go to our house in Whittier, and this is our engine house, and we're going to go to our information tab here, and employees. I've got none. Locations, East Whittier Engine Service. That's what we're looking at. And I'm going to hire a shop crewman. Let's see. Tomorrow at $15. One at $15 a day. I don't think you can get anybody in today to work on it, so it has to wait till tomorrow to work. But that means we have somebody in there working on the engine, and then you can actually hire 2 people if you want and make it go faster. To me, I don't know. It's better just to wait till somebody works on it. We're going to select this, and we have the LSRRR1. It's in 70% condition, and we're going to go to the operations. I'm sorry, equipment. The repair destination is what we need to set. So we're going to set this for the East Whittier repair track, and we're done. And that repair track is either of these. This is all considered East Whittier repair track. So both tracks lead back to that. And so there's that. And we're bringing it back. So I don't think we really have any contracts today that we can take, but we'll figure that out in a minute. But this is really kind of blasting you through the tutorial. We're doing all the things that the tutorial has you do, plus a little bit extra because we played the game enough. We being me. I've played the game enough that I know what to do. So, now, can you do things your own way? Absolutely. But with the tutorial section, you really kind of have to do the things that they want you to do. Or, I mean, you could not fix this engine, but that would be really bad. I almost whacked that. Oof. There's that. Let me pick that up. Once again, we get the little exclamation there because we're not hooked up yet. So we need to hook the hoses up. So we're going to get here and click on the hose. Click, shift click. Don't forget the shift click. And now our brakes are tied together. And we're controlling the brakes on both engines. And so let's go ahead and move forward a little bit. Off she goes. And we're bringing that poor engine out of the hole. One thing I do like, once the engines derail, they get this patinaed look. So you can see my number 2 locomotive is all shiny and beautiful. And behind it, number 1 is like all gray and just dirty looking. I wish they would get like that even when they're 100%, because I love that look, that beat down steam locomotive look that it's starting to get, and that looks really cool. But obviously when you maintain your engines, part of that is really keeping them clean, and most railroads are pretty fastidious about keeping their engines very clean. Though when they were running freight for long periods of time, they would not clean them. But when they would bring them into the house to work on them, they would clean them up as part of the servicing. So engines got baths. I think they still do. I'm not positive about that, but I'm pretty sure they do. All right, so this is we're gonna go off script here. Oh, yeah, this is right. I want to make sure I got that set right. Yeah. Right? Yeah. That's the interchange. So as far as motive power goes, I usually keep the Mogul for using it for the lumber mill, delivering the log loads up and down the mountain. And then I keep the 10-wheeler and use it as our passenger engine. And I will buy another engine eventually, pretty quickly actually, as our mainline freight locomotive. Because we have to be able to get freight delivered through town. I have to start stopping here. All right. That's good. Carry about 2 miles an hour into the shed. And get this guy delivered. All right, so he's here. And once again, I don't think that they start until tomorrow, but this engine, we can check it and see it's at 70% right there. And its destination is the East Whittier track. We're on the equipment tab. On car, it still tells you that, though. It still tells you 70%. Shift click that. Click on that. And I'm going to set the tracks to go to here. And we're going to grab these cars. And we're going to experiment a little bit. I'm going to set what the game calls a fusee, what we call a flare, on the tracks so that we can pull that train out and then send it up the mountain automatically. Right now, and I'm not sure if it's a bug, but you can have these engines drive themselves. And by the way, to do the flare, we're going to put it, I'll do right here, and I'm going to do Shift F. I'm sorry, Control F. There we go. It's not Shift F, Control F. Left Control F makes a flare, and so when we set a driver, he'll automatically back. You don't have to hire any crew, which is weird to me. But they just work for you for free. So you don't have to hire any crew for the trains. That you can hire them, but you don't have to. And I think they probably will change that eventually. But for now, you can automate the engines, which it does help, because when you have like early in the morning, you're going to want to get moving on your freights. So you send these engines off to do their tasks. And then you come back and you do the freight while these engines are off doing their passenger run and their freight run. And we're going to slow it down. Whoops, a little too much. There we go. That's good. Enough to bump it. There we go. And close that up. And then we're going to set this train to control itself. So I'm going to hit left control and click on the engine. I'm going to click on orders and say road. And for right now, we're going to put it at 20 miles an hour reverse. And you'll see as soon as I do that, that's not me doing that. That's the imaginary engineer. And he's going to take this train. And he's going to back it up. And while he's doing that, I'm going to set the switches on the layout. So, or on the map. So we're going to go ahead out of here. And I'm going to make sure this one's set to open. And you'll see a message here. When he gets to that flare, it's going to say something about a fusee. Fusee on the line or something like that. And then you're going to switch this. And I'm going to come back in here and make sure that this is set properly. Yep. They will stop if the switch is set against them. So you want to make sure that they're all set the right way. And now I'm going to press map M. And where I'm taking him is right here in Connolly. I know to go here because I've done it so many times. Eventually they'll have you take it here, but I don't even know if they tell you to do this, but I learned how to do it. So all the other switches should be set right, but we need to go here. So you're going to press, I'm going to point to this area right here, and I'm going to say Control T, and that will jump us to that location. And so here I am. This is where I want to be, and I'm going to throw this switch to go this way, and then I'm going to throw that switch is already in the right plane. This is the log loading spur here. So when you're looking at the map again, you see those two spurs. You can't see them because I'm looking that way. Hang on. Oop. It's this spur right here. That's that we're looking at. And this is logging track 2 for the sawmill, but it's long enough that it can fit that whole train of 8 cars. So there you have it. Okay, so to go back down to our train, he's going to be waiting now because he stopped. I'm going to click on map, and I can see here engine number 1 is in the shed, engine number 2 is here. You can always see your engines like that on the map with the number on them. I'm going to click on that one, and I can either say car follow, or I can do the same thing where I Control T on the map, but it's easier to do this, to just do follow. And so now I'm right to my engine, and there we go, and I'm sitting inside of it. And you can see he's pulled this engine out. Let's see, they stopped pretty far away from the flare, so sometimes you have to move it back. Did he clear the switch, though? That's the big thing. Yes, he did, so we're good. That flare's in the right place. I'm going to throw that this way, and I'm going to go again to orders for this engine. We make sure we got LS Railroad 2. That's number 2 there that we got. And I'm going to play forward now, and I'm going to put it at 25 miles an hour. That means he will not exceed 25. And the light comes on. The engineer takes control. And he's going to just run that right up the mountain until he gets to that dead end. And what's going to happen is those cars will start loading overnight with logs. And we'll bring him back down when he's done. Now, normally we would have a second engine that we would take, but he's taking our only working engine for today. So this is, once again, we're stepping out of the tutorial a little bit here, but that's okay. When he gets back, we will go ahead and get the passenger car and do some service and sell the caboose at the same time. Here comes our automated train. Now you can still run the whistle, which is what I'm doing. And he's turning on to the lumber mill siding here and bringing those skeleton cars up the track. Now we make some serious bank with log delivery, so that's why it's important that we get this going. We can even get money for it today. So let's get that up there and get that working. And I'm going to look at purchasing another engine. You have 4 or 5, when you take a loan out, you have 4 or 5 days to pay the loan off with no interest. If you get past that time, you'll end up having to pay interest. So let's have a gander at the finances. Right now I've got $5,000 plus. Don't forget, we also have $4,000 from our caboose. So when we sell that caboose, it'll be worth about $3,800. So we have about, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, about $9,000 to play with. But then we don't have it today. We can take a max of $20,000 out. I've already, on a different video, make sure you watch it if you haven't. I have the locomotives by class so you can see them all. And I'm going to press Shift-T to open the locomotive window. I've been playing around with the Atlantic, which is a great engine. We currently own the ones that we're running. We have the 16 Mogul and the T17 10-wheeler. The Pacific's nice. The bigger 10-wheeler's nice. This switcher might be a good engine for our purposes. Now, the other option would be the Atlantic, but I've done the Atlantic on my own railroad, and so I'm kind of, I don't want to say sick of it because it's a great engine. It's actually a really great engine. The Atlantic is a nice, big, little starting engine for $11,000, but this switcher is really cool, and this might be, honestly, for what we're doing, where we're just delivering boxcars down the line, this is probably the perfect type of locomotive for that. So, I think that's what we're going to go for. So, we open the finance tab, and I'm going to take out a loan. $5,000. And so we now have $10,000. In 4 days and 14 hours, our first interest payment's due. So we'll have it paid off before then, though. Don't you worry your pretty little head. I'm going to purchase this. I'll be really sorry. You won't let me purchase it. Why? Am I missing something here? My balance is 10,000, right? Oh, okay. I just had to redo that for some reason. All right. So now we can use that. I think we can actually use that engine today. It should a shiny new added to the order. All right. So let's just make sure that this engine gets where it's going, and then we'll check it out. And here we are. We've arrived at the lumber mill, or at the lumber camp, really, the logging camp, with our Mogul. And the autopilot's gonna pull it up and stop before the end of the ramp there, hopefully. Pushing all of our cars up onto the loading dock, where logs will begin to load overnight. Actually, by the end of today, we should be able to bring this back down, maybe even earlier. So I advance time 1 hour at a time, and then I check. Sometimes 2 or 3, but in today's case, we're not going to have much going on. So we're going to just leave the Mogul up here with us. He's already in his position where I'm happy with him. And since we have the new locomotive, we can use the new switcher for the things that we were going to do with this engine. And tomorrow, the 10-wheeler will be ready, hopefully. And the 10-wheeler can then run passenger service while this engine runs this back and forth. And our new engine, which is the 330 number 10, or 060, sorry, three-wheeler, 060. Let's go take a look at this beautiful engine. Oh, a real Samson of the rails, as they used to say. Look at that. That is gorgeous. All right, I want to control this, so we're going to select that. And one thing we do need to do is change the whistle, so give me a second here. These were occasionally equipped, I guess, with a Nathan 5 chime, which is a very nice chime. This is a beefy little engine, man. Look at the stance. All right, so we have 2 tons of coal, 2,500 gallons of water. We can fill it up with water, but the coal, unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do about. But look at the little powerhouse, man. I love the way this thing looks. All right, so let's open it up, and we're going to get just right off the bat. Now, this doesn't, maybe that's a bug, but this doesn't seem to have cylinder cocks that are opening. I'm pressing K and nothing's coming out. Maybe either that's broken or maybe they just didn't have them as a switcher. They kept them out. I don't know. Interesting. If you're a history buff, this is where you come in and chime in and say, "Hey, Arthur, I know the answer to that because I'm a nice guy and I'll tell you," instead of being snobby about it and being like, "Oh, I can't believe you don't know that, you fool." Because I've run into that already a couple times with my videos. Like, seriously, we don't need the snobbery. We're here to be friends and to have fun. If you can't do that, get out. I don't have time in my life for jerks. I'm just here to have fun, guys. And I don't know everything about everything. But I do know that's a nice looking engine. Probably not great for long distances. With no guiding wheels, it may be a little bit of an uncomfortable ride. All right, so we're going to pick up the passenger car and the caboose, and then we're going to take the caboose and reverse it into the siding, because we're not going to use that. So, and we're going to set it for sale, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's just do headlight dim. That's fine. Keep going back. This is the exciting part. Oh yeah. Brakes on, and now we need to fix the brake lines because obviously it's going to complain. This car is staying with us. Honestly, with all that brake line, I don't think we need to hook this one up. So we're going to leave that disconnected. But what we need to do is we need to select the caboose and go to equipment and say sell destination East Whittier interchange. And so what that's going to do is that's going to put that car, it's putting a tick on it that it's for sale. And we're going to set it on that track, and that's going to pay for half of this engine. So, or almost half anyway. And that's a pretty good deal, if you ask me. So long caboose. We'll probably buy more later in the game, but like I said, this game uses a lot of switching, and that thing's just going to get in the way. And here we are, already arriving where I need to be. And put the brakes on. And we're going to throw this switch. And back this engine back. Oh, I'm so glad we got this engine. It's so cool. What a neat engine. And like I said, so tomorrow morning we'll get oh, the other thing we need to do is we need to start the East Whittier interchange mission, so that we get those cars in. So before we go to bed tonight, we'll check all that stuff. But right now, the next thing we need to do is set up for continual passenger service, which means we're going to set some fusies, as they call them, out. So let's go ahead and we're going to head up to East Whittier Station, or just Whittier, I think is the name of the station. This is East Whittier here, and so we're going to go check out Whittier and get that set up for passenger service. And here's that old 6.0 pounding through the station. On the Rocky River Railroad. Oh yeah. And we are arriving here at Whittier, the famous water tower along the river. And we're going to start braking here. And we've arrived safely, mostly at the station, mostly in one piece. And so here we are. We're going to pick up our passengers. And the first thing I'm going to do is, now that we're here, I'm going to set a fusee, knowing that this is a good stopping place. I'm probably going to set it here so when the engine backs, this is where we want to stop. Press F, Control F, there's our fusee. That'll probably stop the engine there. It might come back a little bit. We can adjust this as needed. We'll see when he comes back where he stops. But all right, so what we can do then is we sneak between here and we take a look at the window. This tells us that there's 24 passengers waiting. Now, we only have one other stop on the rail, and that's where we're going to head next. It's a little town called Ella, with a very small station. But as we establish passenger service, we're going to get more and more passengers. They don't pay very well, but they do pay. And so if you run several trains a day, you'll make some money doing passengers, maybe $300 to $500, maybe even $1,000 if you're, pretty, if you keep doing it. So let's go ahead and take a look at our car. Oh, and by the way, this is not the color that I want. So we're going to click on the car, and I'm going to go to equipment first of all, and I'm going to change the color, base color. I'd like it to be more bluey, more bluish. That's not very blue though, it's kind of black. We can make it like super happy blue. That's a little too blue though. Something like that, that looks nice. And we're going to apply that. And then if you have more cars, you can copy that. But the train cars though, these passenger cars, you can change color. So let's go back here again so you're not lost. I'm going to hit Control, click on the train, and I'm going to click on passengers. And we are going to go to Ella Station now. So I'm going to click that, and it's going to start loading the passengers from Ella, or going to Ella. And you can see here, you can kind of look at both. There's 15 left, 11 on board. I don't remember how many there were to start with, but it's 7 plus 9. No, wait, no, 4 plus, nope. That's 24, I think. Yeah, 24 passengers. Once they've done that, we can go ahead and automate our engine. And this is the nice part. I don't have to ride up there. I can drive up there if I want. Sometimes it's fun too, but I've been up there too many times because obviously the second time I played through the game, we've been to Ella like 400 times. So I'm just going to click on the engine with a control button, and I'm going to say orders, road, forward, and I'm going to set that to 30 miles an hour, and that'll keep the train at a safe 30 miles an hour as it goes. And he is going to take off for me. Yep, and there's no cylinder cocks opening for that driver either, so maybe, I don't know. I think that's probably a bug, but I think all steam locomotives had cylinder cocks that open and close. But once again, I'm not too sure that you would see this type of locomotive pulling a passenger car. I mean, on an excursion railroad, yes, or maybe moving them around the yard. But in a standard railroading situation, most likely, they're not really designed for passenger service. They were designed to shuffle cars, and that's what it's going to be doing on our railroad. We got a lot of cars to shuffle, trust me on that. Now the cool thing is there's several of these known in existence. The 060, the Ursa, I believe this is an Ursa model, and of those in existence, 2 of them are near me. One of them is about an hour and a half away in a town called Sugar Creek, and it's getting refurbed, or it's static. It's not going to ever be, well, they may refurbish it at some point, but anyway, Age of Steam tends to just do static models. So there's that train. But there's a second one that's even closer in a small town where actually my family is from originally, way back when, back in the turn of the century, back around the early 1900s, my family was from a little town called Wellington. And in Wellington, Ohio, I believe it's called the Elyria, Lorain, and West Virginia Railroad. It is a very small short line railroad. They have a couple working diesels with some passenger cars, and they happen to have an 060 that is in pieces, but that is supposedly in the process of being restored. Now, I don't know how that restoration's going. I've seen it out there in pieces for years, and it doesn't look like they're making much progress. Not as much as I would want to see, but who knows? Anyway, it's neat to have it, one, plying the rails of the Rocky River. These little guys and the 04 or the 080s that were used for World War II kept this nation's train yards moving during the war, and they got a lot of service. And I've set the stop fusee at the other end of the tracks for our now approaching passenger train. The passengers will unload automatically, so there's that. It's kind of a nice feature. I would like to add a passenger car as soon as possible, but honestly, there's no point until we open up the bridge to Ella. So I'll show you where that is. Once this engine pulls in here and stops, and we start unloading passengers, I will take you to the Ella Bridge, and you can see where tomorrow we'll begin our construction. There goes fusee in the gauge, which basically means flare on the rails, and our passengers are unloading. And we'll get $24 for delivering 24 passengers. It's $1 a passenger, basically. Now, when you get up to Bryson, which is the next town, that rate goes up because it's a further distance. I think you get about $1.60 per passenger. So you'll get $1 passengers going here, and you'll get passengers going up there. And you'll start making some decent money. So let's go take a look at the bridge. And here's the bridge to Ella. This is our goal for tomorrow. And we're almost ready to fast forward time a bit so we can get to tomorrow. So we only have 20 passengers going back. That's a dud. Last time I played, I think I had more passengers waiting like they just were. But we go to passenger. We're going to go to Whittier. We're going to let those 3 people load. And I could have done that before I went down to the bridge, but I didn't. Oh, well. So now we got to wait a minute. Okay. So the passengers have finished loading. I'm going to click on my engine and pick the orders, and now I'm going to put them into reverse. Same instructions. And they're going to blast out of here. And there she goes. All right, meanwhile, let's see what's going on at the logging camp. So nothing has happened. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to kind of force things to happen. I'm going to wait an hour. Let's see what happens. Nothing. How about now? Nothing. Interesting. How about now? That's not good. Something's not right. For some reason, these aren't loading, and they should be. But maybe we don't get sawmill operations until day 2. Let me take a look at the tutorial real quick. It's bizarre. I wonder if I have a bug going on here, because that didn't happen last time I did this. Nothing in the tutorial. So what we're going to do is we're also going to look here. The thing that we do need to do is do our milestones. So, like I talked before about, we're going to repair Ella Bridge. I may have to take out more money because I only have $300. So we're going to take out another loan for $1,000. We owe $6,000. It's not bad. We'll have that paid off pretty quick. As long as this starts producing. We're going to start the first phase of the Ella Bridge. So tomorrow morning there'll be some cars for us. The next thing that we're also going to do is take a look at our locations. We're going to go through here. And we have a contract for Hollifield to deliver a car. We have Stenzel. They want us to deliver a car. That's cool. And the sawmill. All right. So this might be what we needed to do that. I kind of screwed that up. I should have done that first. But we've agreed to do this. And now we're going to start probably getting logs. So we'll fast forward time again and see what happens. Oh, and we also want this. So I'm just taking anything that I can get through all of these. Any contracts that I can get, we're going to take. That means we're going to have a bunch of cars to deliver tomorrow morning. But that's fine, because then we'll have some content for the next episode. Let's go ahead and fast forward an hour. I'm not convinced this is going to work, but... oh my gosh, it's not working. So I may have to save and load. Oh, this is my fault. I screwed up. Okay, guys, this is why it's good that you watch this, because you saw me massively, royally mess this up. And we could have some money today, and I've hosed it because I kept fast forwarding time. We can still get one train load down there, but this is what I did wrong. You have to go to the car. If cars aren't loading, it's because you haven't set them right. Okay, so since these are our cars, we have to set what they do, which means we have to go to operations, and this car loads to the Whittier Sawmill, and it empties from Connolly Creek L2. The empties go to Connolly Creek L2, and then the full ones go to Whittier Sawmill. And we're copying that to coupled. Now, watch the dumb thing happen. Boom. Now, the nice thing is it kind of rewarded us and gave it to us all at once. They could have been jerks and made us wait. But because the cars have been here all day, they just did it. So now I'm going to select this one. And the other train has arrived at the station, by the way. And we are going to go ahead and I'm going to say orders, reverse. And this is going to reverse this log train down the hill back to the main area. So we'll get some pay in today. That's good. That's going to help us, but that was a bummer. So don't forget to set your cars. That was my fault. I forgot to set those, and that's why it wasn't working. It wasn't a bug. It was just me not doing the right thing. And we made 20 bucks on the train delivery. But these cars, I think 8 cars worth will fill up our bank account pretty quick. You get a lot of money for these logs. So, all right, I will be back. And just taking a cursory glance at the station, there's 24 passengers. Let's go ahead and select this piece of equipment. Set it going to Ella. We're going to get 24 passengers on there, and we'll send this train back for another 24 bucks. We'll run this one more time, and then I'm going to bring the beefy locomotive and the car back to the main station, or well, East Whittier, to the engine service. Because tomorrow we're going to fill these engines up all the way and get them ready for long days of service. This engine will be using, we'll be using this engine to move our freight around, and the 10-wheeler should be ready maybe to do passenger service. It's not the end of the world if it isn't, but here we go, to all 24 passengers. So we're going to go ahead and send him on, and let's pick up the other train. And here comes the 10. And coming down the hill with our logs is the Mogul. All right. And we've arrived at the Whittier Interchange. Mogul may have to do double duty tomorrow. I'm realizing I think that the 10-wheeler will not be ready until the next day. I forgot that we don't have a hired worker working in there until tomorrow. So I'm thinking that that's what's going to happen. Ugh. So we have arrived back at the sawmill with our first sort of successful load of logs. I think they said that those produce 12 cars a day. We've gotten 8 cars worth. So I mean, that's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. He stopped, and that was my phone in case you were wondering. I'm going to go ahead and grab this engine, and we're going to go ahead and send him forward. And he's just going to pull into the siding there for me. And those logs will start unloading, and we'll just leave the engine out overnight, park there. I have a feeling tomorrow he's going to have to go up the hill and then come back down the hill and then take over passenger service while we take the freight out. In fact, the freight's the most important thing to get out early because we get bonuses on the freight. So tomorrow morning is going to be a little bit of a rush, but we'll be fine. So now all we have to do is bring the Ursa home. We may do one. We'll do one more load from Ella to Whittier, and then once we're in Whittier, we'll bring it back. So, all right. So I've got a problem here. This fusee was too close. I'm gonna put it up here. The bell sounded funny. Ding. So the passengers did not exit the station. Or exit the train car. Are they getting off? Yes, now they're exiting. It's just on the edge. Let's see if that's enough. That's enough for them to get off. There we go. Alright. So I'll be right back. Obviously my phone is going off. I'll figure this out. Hang on. Alright, we've made our $24. And we're going to load any passengers coming from Ella back to Whittier. I don't think there's that many. 18 or 20 altogether. That's about the same going each way. And so we're going to send this train back once it's full. All right, and she's all loaded, so let's send her back. Orders reverse 30 miles an hour, and he's going to head back down to Whittier. Passenger train in hands. Have fun, sir. It looks like the car is lit up, but it's the light from the engine blasting through the passenger car. Poor passengers. Yeah, the light's on the tender. Alrighty, here comes number 10 back into the Ella station again, or Whittier station. I'm sorry, to drop off the passengers, and then we're gonna quickly bop him back over to the station area. Once again, I think passenger service will be down tomorrow. We can't. You have to run passengers. So we're going to have to put the Mogul on the passenger service. After we take the logging train up, we're going to have to bring the Mogul back down and start passenger service. Because your reputation will go down if you don't have passenger service running. People get angry that they're not being served. So that stinks, but there you have it. Alright, so hang on one second. Let's get in on the train and we'll take it back. Alrighty then. It's 4:45. Here on the Rocky River. The Rocky River Railway. In New York. It's not, it's in Rocky River's in Cleveland. Manual operation, and we're going to put it neutral reverse and run it backwards. Let her rip, Papa. Yeah. So while we're at it, you can take a look around the engine. Pretty nice little train. Really good visibility. Just what we need as a switcher. Little compact in here, a little crunchy, but what did you expect? Very nice engine. So, we've had a busy day on the Rocky River. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. I definitely had fun making it. I look forward to seeing you guys in future episodes. I will try as best I can to keep each episode to one day. Or maybe multiple days in an episode. I don't want to go the opposite where I have like the first half of the day. I'm going to try to keep these nice and concise so they're a little bit more edited. But I know it's going to still be a lot of video, so bear with me. Hopefully you guys enjoy the series and find it another one of Arthur's relaxing train series that we play, as we often do. on the different games that we play. And look, the logs are already being loaded into the pond, which is great because we're going to get paid for those. You don't really see it happening, but if we look at our finances, we've already got $388. We're in trouble. We'll make it back tomorrow. We'll have. I can almost guarantee you that we'll have this engine paid off by day 3, maybe even day 4. But by that time, we still won't be paying interest, so we'll be okay. All right, guys. So have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Like I said, once again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I definitely had a lot of fun making this. And I'm going to put the passenger car in one of the sidings. I'll figure that out off camera. But we're going to move that around a little bit. And then tomorrow I will see you in the morning. So have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. And tell your friends about the channel. Make sure you get this out there so we can make lots of videos. Because the more people watch and the more it's getting watched, the more videos I'll make. So have a good night, guys. And see you next time on Railroader. Bye.